Hello lovelies, welcome back to Alakege YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be learning how to sew a raglan sleeve dress. So it's so easy and simple to make. So if you're interested in learning how to make this, please continue to watch this tutorial. Thank you very much. About 3 weeks ago, I shared a tutorial on this channel on how to make a raglan sleeve, and at the end of the tutorial I asked if I should make a sewing tutorial, and someone said yes. So this is why I'm making this tutorial. I'm sorry that it took so long, I was just so busy. So now for this, I will be using the pattern we drafted in that tutorial for this video. So if you've not watched that tutorial, I'm going to link it down right in the comment section, also the description box. Please check it out, and that is where you're going to start. So if you've not watched that tutorial, please go ahead and watch that before you come back to watch this sewing video. So you're going to need the pattern in order to make this. So now I've just pinned my front pattern on the fabric right here. So this is half scale. That means I'll be marking the rest of the bodies on the fabric. So this is my waistline. I'm just going to elongate the line. I'm just going to draw out the line, and the difference from my waist to hip is 8 inches, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark that it is 8 inches. So I'm just going to mark the 8 inches right there. So now the next thing is to ignore the waist dart and the bust dart, because this will be a dartless dress, so we'll be ignoring the dart. So on the chest line here, my bust is 34, so 34 divided by 4 equals to 8.5. Then I added half inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. And on the waist area, my waist is 28, so 28 divided by 4 equals to 7, plus half inch plus ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. I ignored the dart. I will not be using the dart anymore. Then on the hip line, my hip is 36, so 36 divided by 4 equals to 9. Then plus half inch plus for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance, and that's what I mark right there on the fabric. So I'm just going to use my curve ruler, my hip curve, to connect from the hip to the waist, just like that. So I'll just use my curve ruler. So I was using the curve ruler, it wasn't working, so I used, because of the fabric was very slippery, so I'll just go ahead and just use my free hand, which I've done already. Then from the waist, I connected it to the chest line where we mark the bust measurements, and that is just that on that. Then around the sleeve area there, I'm adding half inch for the seam, for the joining, because we need to join the sleeve to the body. So I'm adding half inch for that, to join the sleeve to the body. So please just use half inch is enough. So I'm just trying to get that, pin it to the right area like so. Then on the neckline too, you need to add your half inch there in order to join the tie. The dress has the tie as the neck, and if you're not adding tie, you need to even pipe in the neckline too. So add your half inch to that, and that is all for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and just mark the half inch for the neckline there. So the next thing for me is just to cut off the excess fabric that I have around there. So I'm just cutting off the excess fabric right there. So at the hem area here, I want it to have a kind of pencil effect. So I'm just going to go in by 1 inch. Then I'm just going to trim it off straight to the hip area like so. And that is all for the front part, and for the front piece right there. So we're going to move to the onto the back area. So this is how the front piece look like. So here is the back. I've already pinned the back pattern to the fabric here. If you watch my previous tutorial on how to draft a big sleeve bodies, the back is usually shorter than the front, but I'll be ignoring that, because if you watch the tutorial on the dartless bodies, the front waistline and the back waistline is the same thing. I'll link the importance tutorials right in the description box. Please go ahead and watch this tutorial in order for you to understand properly. So I'll just be marking, instead of marking on the waistline here, I'll be using the front waistline, which is 16 inches. So that's what I'll be using for this back. So if you watch my previous tutorial, you're going to understand why the front waistline is longer than the back waistline. But I'm still pinning my pattern to the fabric in order to have a neat work. So I'll just be doing that. So the 14 inches that is my back waistline, I'll be ignoring that. I'll be using the 16 inches for the front waistline. So we're using the same thing for the front and also for the back. So now my waistline, instead of being on the 14 for the back here, I'll be using the 16 inches for the front. So I'll be marking my waistline right there on 16 inches. So after that, I'll mark the difference from my waist to hip. The difference from my waist to hip is 8 inches, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark that, and this will serve as the hip line for the back too. And that is our measurement. So this is where we're going to be marking our necessary measurement. So on the chest line here, I will just input quarter of my bust measurements. My bust is 34, so 34 divided by 4 equals to 8.5, then plus half inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. So I'm just going to go ahead and just mark that. Make sure you mark yours from those where the zipper line stops. So on the waist area here too, I'm just marking the zipper line to know where I'm going to start. So on the waist area too, I will input quarter of my waist measurement plus half inch for ease and 1 inch for sewing allowance. My waist is 28, so 28 divided by 4 equals to 7 plus half inch plus for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. So I'm just going to connect from my bust area, the chest line, to the waistline like so. Then on the hip line, I'm still marking the zipper allowance so that I'll know where to start the line, where to start marking. So that is what I'm doing right now. I'm just marking straight down the zipper allowance. Make sure you just do that yourself too. So on the hip line, I will input quarter of my hip measurement plus half inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance. My waist, my hip rather is 36, so 36 divided by 4 equals to 9 plus half inch for ease and 1 inch for seam allowance, and that's what I mark right on that area. Then at this line here, I'll connect it straight down the zipper allowance straight to the hem area. So at the center, at the side back here, the zipper area is the center back, so the side back is this other side, just like I did for the front where I come in by 1 inch. I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing for the back too, in order to have this pencil effect there. So I'm just going to go ahead and just trim it off like so. So that is all for the back. So add your necessary allowance to the side, to the neckline, and to the sleeve area. So this is the front, the sleeve pattern here that we made. So go ahead and watch the tutorial on how we make this in order for you to understand. I'll link it down in the comment section and also in the description box. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin the sleeve to the area, to the fabric. Then I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the fabric. I'll cut off the excess fabric that I have there. Make sure you add your necessary allowance if you don't have allowances on your sleeve pattern. So I will be adding allowance to the side. I already have allowance at the hem area. I'm just going to go ahead and just cut off the excess fabric right there, using my pattern to just trace it out like so. So I'm added allowance to the side and also to the up here where we'll be using. So at the middle here, please make sure to notch it in order to know the front side and also the back side. So at the front side here, I'm still going to go ahead and notch it again, because you need to understand, you need to indicate where the front is. So I'm just going to go ahead and notch that area again. Please make sure to do that in order to know the side that is the front on your sleeve pattern. Please make sure to do that. So now to the sewing, this is the front pattern right here. This is the front. I'll just remove the pattern from the fabric, and then I want the neck line to be a bit deeper. I know we use the basic neckline when we are making the video, so I will just be trimming a little bit off in order to create a kind of V neckline for me. So if you don't want yours to be deep like this, you can just go ahead and do the kind of neckline you want. So I want a kind of V neckline. That's why I make a V shape right there. So I'm just going to open it up. You're going to see the V shape right here. Can you see how it looks now? So the next thing I'll do is to bring out my sleeve pattern. I'm just going to bring out my sleeve pattern right now. So now remove the sleeve pattern from the fabric. So one I mentioned earlier that I must indicate where the front pattern is, or front area is. So since I already indicate that, it will be very easy for me to locate where I'm going to pin to the front body. So now the front side, I'm just going to go ahead and pin it to the sleeve area on the front there. Just pin it together on both sides and take it to your sewing machine, and sew. It's just that simple. But make sure you pin it down so that you're going to have it accurately on the sides. So make sure to pin it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin my, so I'll just pin it like so. So I'm just pinning. Make sure to pin properly. Make sure that you are pinning right correctly. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for myself. I'm just arranging it because this fabric was slippery because it's chiffon. Make sure you just give it your time and just do it accurately. So make sure you pin it down. So I'm just pinning it down like so. To pin the other side. So after pinning this side, I'll pin the other side too. So this is how it looks like after pinning. So I've already pinned it already, and I've pinned the second side too. So what I will do is just to take it to the sewing machine and just sew it straight down. Just take it to the sewing machine and run a stitch straight down. So I've already run the stitch already. Can you see I've joined it already, and also hemmed the sleeve area too. So the next thing is to join the back piece just like we did for the front. Pin the side of the sleeves to the back area just like we did for the front. It's just that simple. So just place it on your fabric, on your fabric like that. This is the back part, so just pin it down, or if you can just take it to the same machine and sew without pinning it, it's totally fine. So just pin it there, or just take it to your sewing machine and just sew the two sides, the two back pieces like that. So right now I've joined that already. Can you see how it looks now? This is the back that we joined. So the next thing is just to place the fabric on top of each other, the front on the back, in order to go ahead and join it at the sleeve area. So just fold it together properly. Make sure the sides are aligned, the seams are aligned at the sleeve area and also at the side. Just pin them together, or if you can just take it to the sewing machine like that. So make sure I'm just arranging it. Make sure to arrange it and make sure they align at the side. So this is why I've already aligned it already. So I'm just going to go ahead and take it to the sewing machine and sew using the seam allowance that I added to the fabric. So just do that for both sides. I'll just take this to the sewing machine. After arranging it, you can pin it down so that it will not shift when you are sewing. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for both sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for both sides like so. So just do the same thing for the other side like that too. So I've already joined it together at the side. Can you see how it looks like right now? I've joined it together on the side already. So I mentioned earlier that I want to add tie to the neckline. So I've just cut a long rope, cut two pieces. Mine was about 28 inches long and 1.5 inches wide. So once I joined it to the neckline with half inch, that means I will have 1 inch of the tie around the neck. So make sure to join it from the zipper area to one part of the V shape that we have there. So join it up. So the second one, you're just going to place it on the first one and just join it down, just to hold it down. So make sure you do just that. So I've already joined it together. Can you see how it looks right now? So this is how it looks on the neckline, like so, just like I mentioned. So the next is just to go to the back area to add the zipper to it. So I'm just showing us the neckline how it looks. You can just overlock this area like that. Then the next thing is to add zipper to the back and also hem it at the hemline, and that is all for this dress, like so. So this is the dress. Can you see how it looks? Can you see the necktie here? I just tied it. Can you see the back? It's just this simple to make. It's so easy. So go and watch the tutorial of how we make the pattern for this. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a huge thumbs up, like, comment, and also share this video. If you have not subscribed, please, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe to this channel. And to all my subscribers, thank you for your support. I love you. Catch you in my next tutorial. Bye.